Hey everyone, it's Tania Wahl with the Alexander Realty Group and Cabco Moms. I snuck away while my husband's cooking dinner and I'm in the kids' playroom trying to put laundry away, but wanted to jump on and do a quick video on the due diligence fee because it's probably one of the most common questions I get when it comes to working with buyer clients. So for those of you who are moving from another state outside of North Carolina, or you're a first-time home buyer, or maybe you've bought a house and you just don't remember what it is, I'm here to give you a quick rundown on what the due diligence fee is and how it works, and just some key things you want to remember when it comes time to buying a house and how to use that money. So, what is your due diligence fee? It is money that once you are under contract to buy a home, once you have the seller signed agreement, you have to write that check for the negotiated due diligence amount. So that leads me to second question is, how much should I put down? That's always, I get it all the time from buyers. And as agents, it can be a little bit of a slippery slope to answer that, because truthfully, as agents, we shouldn't be telling people how much they should put down for a couple of reasons. One, it's completely up to the buyer's comfort level. Maybe they are 100% confident they want the house and they have $10,000 they're willing to put down in due diligence, and that's what they're willing to do. Great, we can do that. But some buyers may not have that amount or just may not be comfortable putting that high of an amount down, and they might say, I want to do 500. That's fine too. Remember, as agents, we work for our clients. We are here to educate and kind of guide you through the process, but ultimately, as long as it's legal, we have to do what our client asks us to do. So when it comes to the amount, there's a couple key things to remember. Number one, due diligence money is actually not required to form a contract. So if an agent tells you that it is, that is not correct. It is not required per the North Carolina Real Estate Commission. Now, a seller can choose to ask for it and say, well, I'm not going to accept a contract unless there's due diligence money on there. So that's up to the seller. But as a buyer, it is not a required amount. An agent cannot say you absolutely must put X amount of due diligence money down. It's not how it works. So let's say you are going to put some down, because I'll be honest, especially in this market, usually you're going to want to put something down to show the sellers, hey, I'm interested. I'm putting skin in the game. This is how badly I want the house, and this is the amount I'm willing to give you in order for you, the seller, to take that home off the market, to accept my offer, and allow me to do my inspections, surveys, whatever the case may be. So when it comes to the amount, again, it's what you feel comfortable putting down. In this market, I've seen some crazy amounts. My sellers over the past year have been getting usually about $5,000 to $10,000 in due diligence money up front when we've accepted an offer. On the flip side, with some of my buyer clients, I've had people do $500. I've had people go up to $10,000. It just really depends on the situation. I've heard some stories of buyers going with an offer and putting $20,000 to $30,000 to $50,000 in due diligence. So if you're thinking of buying, if you're getting started in the process, don't feel like you need to have this huge amount of cash up front, because again, it's always negotiable. And ultimately, what you're offering for the home could be a lot stronger, because the due diligence money is credited back to the buyer at closing. So let's say you're offering $300,000 on a home and you give $5,000 in due diligence. That $5,000 comes off the price of the home. So now you're at $295,000 and then minus your down payment and so on. Sellers need to keep that in mind too, because you might have an offer. If your house is on the market for $290,000, you may have an offer for $300,000 with $5,000 due diligence, or you might have an offer at $295,000 with $10,000 due diligence. Yes, in that $295,000 offer, you're getting more money up front, but ultimately you're netting less money because the overall asking price was less than that other offer. So certain things to keep in mind on both the buy and the sell side when it comes to due diligence. But the key thing I want you to take away as a buyer is, number one, due diligence amount is not required. It is always a negotiable amount between buyer and seller. So make sure that whoever you're working with is telling you these things. If they are telling you you must do due diligence and it must or it should be this amount, I would be cautious, because again, there is no amount that it should be. It should not be a percentage of the asking price of the house. It is truly what you as a buyer are comfortable with, knowing that if you choose to walk away before closing, you will more than likely not get that money refunded. There are very few times where that money could be refunded. And those situations would be if the seller chooses not to sell, but then you could run into some legal stuff. So if that did happen, I would say go talk to an attorney. The other time would be if you could prove that the seller knew about what we call a material fact, so a defect in the house. If the seller knew about it and didn't disclose it, then there could be a case there. However, I am not an attorney, so if you felt that way, you'd want to consult an attorney. But those are really the only times you could potentially get the money back. So I always tell my clients, when you are writing that due diligence check, you want to be aware that if you walk away from this transaction, you will more than likely lose that due diligence money. So just keep that in the back of your mind when you're writing these offers. Now, again, you get to closing, it's credited back to you. So that's great. You're not just throwing money at the seller that you're never going to see again. But I'm just here to educate you guys and kind of clear up, again, what the due diligence fee is and how it works. So if you have any questions, you know how to reach me, comment. My contact information is always in the description of the video, but just wanted to jump on here and give you a little education. All right, everyone, have a good night.